Hello, I'm Andrew Rainey and welcome to Kickstart This, where I'll share with you some of the best video game crowdfunding projects that I've found in Kickstarter over the last few weeks. Now, before I dive into some of the games that I've found over the last few weeks, I wanted to highlight one of the games from the last episode. Developer Basti was looking for funds for his Metroidvania title, Lone Fungus. After I showed it on Kickstart This, I really got behind the campaign and started sharing it a lot with updates on Twitter, and then I noticed that momentum started picking up, but it didn't look like it was going to make it, and it had just passed the 50% mark with days to spare. Then a miracle happened. Basti kindly asked Kickstarter for a 7-day extension to his campaign, and they were nice enough to grant it. Within those 7 days, his campaign skyrocketed and he managed to raise the other 50% and then some within that extension. Now, for me, it really showed the power of Kickstarter to not only allow people to find a great game, but to get them to rally behind it. I'm really happy it's worked out for Basti, and I really hope he manages to bring that game to the console. Now, back to this episode. First game I'm going to be looking at is 2.5D Metroidvania action game Blue, followed by procedurally generated roguelike shooter Overpower. Then we're going to look at multiplayer parkour shooter BulletVille, and lastly Angel Mission 444. I'll also be featuring my first game to avoid with Rikishi, a Samurai Odyssey. Now, I do try and keep Kickstart This positive, but when I see a project that has a lot of red flags, I want to warn my fellow crowdfunders. So let's jump in. Blue is the first Kickstarter project by Dam, a French indie developer based in Paris. It is described as a 2.5D ninja Metroidvania inspired by the likes of Dead Cells and Prince of Persia. You play as the titular Blue, a young guardian charged with reclaiming the land of Talpa from the hands of the corrupted in order to restore your dying order. Now, Dead Cells is one of my favourite games in this genre, and Blue certainly looks like it has a similar pace, but the hand-drawn art style and game design really is something to behold. It really embraces the epic fantasy genre that its story suggests, with an array of magical weapons and spells to use against its barrage of enemies that you're going to face. It's also 2.5D, so you can expect gigantic bosses to lurch out of the background when you're fighting. We see a lot of Metroidvania games on Kickstarter, but Blue looks like it will be a very polished and frenetic addition to the genre. As well as the battles that you're going to face, there'll be puzzles to unlock in order to progress through the game. If you're looking for a side-scrolling ninja version of Breath of the Wild, then you should look no further. Even better, Dam has released a demo of Blue on Steam, so you can have a go before you decide whether or not you want to make a pledge. Speaking of pledges, for a digital copy of the game on either PC or Switch, you need to pledge €20 or more. You also get an exclusive in-game outfit, regular updates, plus your name in the credits as a goblin. If you add an extra €10, you get a digital copy of the art book and the soundtrack by Lucas Peel, which is well worth the upgrade. If you want to grab some physical goodies, then check out the €90 Hero tier. It comes with an exclusive physical Kickstarter version of the game for PC, plus the digital copy as well, the soundtrack, art book, and lots of in-game items, including a sword and a pet dragon. Who doesn't want a pet dragon? If you've ever wanted to see yourself featured in a game, then a pledge of €300 will nab you everything from the Hero tier, plus the opportunity to design your own NPC, and you even get to write your own dialogue. No sweary words though. Overpower comes from Hong Kong-based studio Play Tonight. The game is described as a stacks-on-stacks roguelike shooter which sees you travel through different dimensions of a fractured galaxy, navigating nightmarish isometric worlds where you essentially shoot everything in sight. Don't worry if you die, a mysterious bartender will come and rescue your poor robot body so you can fight another day. Each run in this dungeon crawler is procedurally generated, meaning you'll have a new challenge each time you play. You can play as one of 4 cute little robot characters, collecting various chips along the way that will upgrade your character or your weapons. Now, this game looks gorgeous. The characters look cute and menacing at the same time, such as the murderous performers of the Carnival Realm or the spectres and skeletons of Ghost World. It also promises a series of challenging boss fights. Now, the game originally started out as something called Nameless Vessel, and this won the developers a small startup fund to develop it to where it is now. It's actually quite amazing to see the evolution of their idea, and you'll want to help them succeed as it's already been 2 years in the making. Now, if you're looking for a copy of just the game, there's currently an early bird discount for 50 Hong Kong dollars, which works out at roughly £5. You can also get a set of character postcards at that tier. However, if you increase it to 80 Hong Kong dollars, you get 2 copies of the game and 2 sets of postcards, which is a pretty generous offer. There's not a lot of physical collectibles on offer, but if you want to appear as an NPC merchant in the game, you can do so for 500 Hong Kong dollars, which is less than £50. This also gives you access to the beta version as well. Now, the highest tier is actually sitting at a very reasonable 4,000 Hong Kong dollars, which is around £370 or so. This tier gives you the opportunity to design a brand new NPC that the main characters will meet in the game, as well as all previous rewards. However, it is limited to just 2 people, so you're going to have to be quick. Okay, small confession, I am not a massive multiplayer fan. I've dabbled in Fortnite, Splatoon and Mario Kart Online, but I mostly play single player campaigns. However, BulletVille could be the game that pushes me into the multiplayer arena. It's described by indie studio Nova as a multiplayer parkour shooter, but that doesn't quite communicate how fun this game looks. The story takes inspiration from Borderlands, where a rich gazillionaire buys a planet and treasure hunters from all over the galaxy come to loot, fight and kill like there is no tomorrow. Now, BulletVille certainly has a whiff of Overwatch about it, especially in the large and diverse cast of characters. My favourite has to be Willie Punch, who originally started as a character from one of Noah's first games, created by founder Yohame Zerpa. Now, what BulletVille does, it takes a third-person multiplayer shooter and fuses it with the parkour or something like Spider-Man to create something I've never really seen before, with the ability to slide, grind, grapple and hang from ledges. It also promises character progression and vehicle combat, including the most amazing robot dinosaur I think I've ever seen. There are several different maps to battle in, including the old London-esque Tavrosham, Sky City High Stratus, the Tokyo-inspired Osaka-ku, and the Wild West-themed Marauder Mesa, as well as many, many more. BulletVille has been in development now for 4 years, and it's in a pretty good beta state by the look of things, which means that you shouldn't be waiting too long to see a return on your pledge. But BulletVille looks like it comes from a place of passion and fun, and Yohame has promised a ton of game modes. Also, each of the team have recorded a small message that you can watch on the project, which gives me a good sense of the people that are working on it, and that they're working on it because they want to make something cool. Even better, it's not restricted to Steam, with plans to bring it to all consoles, Android and iOS. Now, you'll need to make a pledge of $15 or more to get access to the game itself. It's expected to retail for $29.99, so you're getting it at half price. You also get your name in the credits, and you also get an exclusive wallpaper set. Now, there's no physical tier, but if you want alpha access as soon as the Kickstarter campaign ends, plus 2 copies of the game in beta and full release, plus some exclusive skins, then make a pledge of $75 or more. However, if you've got money to burn, I would check out the $1,000 tier, which comes with all the previous rewards, plus a lifetime battle pass, and your name somewhere on the map as well. Angel Mission 444 comes from Rare Fat Pigeon, who are based in Coventry, although the 2 young designers, Yanitsa and Ilya, hail from Bulgaria and Russia respectively. It's described as a tactical role-playing game with a bit of neon-sprinkled horror for kicks, where your computer acts as a conduit to talk to otherworldly beings such as angels, vampires and cryptids. I was drawn to this game because of the beautiful surrealist artwork that has been shared on the project page, even if I'm not entirely sure what it is or how this will translate to the final game. However, they have promised a demo soon, so hopefully that will shed some light on the gameplay itself. So why should you fund this? Well, the developers are being very open and honest, and they are first-time developers, so it's nice to help them out. They have said that if they don't reach their funding goal, they will try and release a form of the game, maybe as a visual novel or a point-and-click adventure. However, if they reach their goal of £60,000 with a Nintendo Switch goal of £90,000, they will then offer the wholly unique gaming experience, and I'm excited to see what that is. They are also looking for a composer to create their soundtrack, so if you know one, send them that way. A pledge of £11 will be enough to get you a single Steam key for the full game, while a pledge of £30 will also see you receive a digital art book as well. Again, there's no mid-tier physical rewards here, but a pledge of £80 will not only get your name in the credits, but it will also appear in the game as graffiti art. The top tier here is £230. That gets you 2 copies of the game, a Guardian Angel 3D figure, your portrait in the style of the game, plus a personalised animation thank you from the character of your choice. Now, I've been covering Kickstarter campaigns for over a decade now, and during that time I've fallen for a few scams along the way. These experiences have given me a much better sense of when a project doesn't feel right and what to look for specifically. At some point I'll look to do a video on this, but for the moment I'm going to highlight Rikishi: A Samurai Odyssey as an example. I'm not saying this game is 100% a scam, but I'm going to show you a few red flags that I have spotted. First of all, the company is named after the game, Rikishi Productions. It's described as a small indie startup, yet it is seeking $2.1 million. That is more than all of the games that I've mentioned in this video combined. The development team do not appear either in the video, nor are they introduced in the project themselves. This makes it a lot harder to identify who's responsible for the project and any funds that you pledge. If you go to the company profile, it gives you the name of Blake Saul, who's the guitarist in band Fame on Fire. I've checked LinkedIn, there are 2 other Blake Sauls, none of which are based in Sapporo, Japan, which is where the company is allegedly based. The project video is relatively short. The first half is made up of Japanese artwork that looks to be stolen from other sources. This one is called Garden of the Katana Sword, which is a painting by Tithi Luadhong, available on Fine Art America. The second half of the video zooms out of a map of Japan to show the size of the game map compared to other games like Just Cause 2 and GTA 5. Essentially, the video is suggesting that players will be able to explore the whole of Japan. Make of that what you will. Now, the bit that really raised the biggest red flag for me was when they produced a confidential document complete with a watermark that reads Rikishi Productions Confidential, which begs the question, why are they sharing it on Kickstarter? Finally, there is zero gameplay, zero artwork. Now, to be fair, they do address this in their FAQs. They say that because they're starting from a budget of zero, they have no gaming assets. Nothing, which is what I advise you to give them. So that's all from me this episode. I'll be keeping an eye on the progress of these projects and helping them out by spreading the word on Twitter, at Andrew Rainey and at kick_start_this. So feel free to come and follow me and spread the word even further. Now, if you can help these developers, please click on the project link in the comments to give them a donation or a pledge. If you cannot afford to donate, I'm sure they would appreciate it if you share a link to their Kickstarter page across your social media feeds. Now remember, if you love crowdfunding and video games as much as I do, and you want to hear about the exciting new campaigns, please remember to hit the subscribe and the alert buttons. I'm hoping to grow this channel and start using any funds to create a Kickstarter pot to help give developers a little push over the finish line as and when they need it. And if you're someone who has just launched a campaign or you're about to launch a Kickstarter campaign, then please get in touch, as I'm looking to expand the channel and do interviews with developers and hear all about their crowdfunding stories. Until next time.